Hey guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Let you guys know, I won't be following any of the Marvel movies. The version of the Scarlet Witch I'm using is the daughter of Magneto, and of course she has a twin brother, Quicksilver, Pietro, I think it's called. I'm not totally sure, but I think that's what it is, Pietro. From a early age, Wanda was always interested in magic and learning the craft. After begging her father to allow her to go and find a master, after bugging her father for a while, for about a week, he agreed. As she eventually came across a old woman that ultimately agreed to teach her everything she knew. Her time has finally come for her and her master to take different paths. Well, basically, her training with her is coming to an end. Before she left, she gave her student one vital bit of information or advice. She she suggested she seek out the Supreme, and if she's able to gain his tutelage, she would be on her way to becoming the most powerful magic user in the current age. Wanda mastered everything her teacher taught her in mere years. Wanda, actually, give me a second here. When she finally completed her training with her old master, she's around 16 years old. Basically, what I'm trying to say. Wanda contacted a few of her contacts she made when she was learning from her old master. She eventually got the location where the Sorcerer Supreme resides. It's hard to pin down Sorcerer Supreme Sanctum because it moves around constantly. Wanda did finally locate the Sanctum. When she approached the Sanctum and knocked on the door, and she asked Doctor Strange to be his apprentice, as he declined her in the nicest way possible. The nicest way possible, basically. At first, being rejected hurt her, but she wasn't going to give up. So day after day, she stand in front of the front door to the sanctum until a week has passed. During the same routine, Doctor Strange finally accepted his defeat and took the girl as his student. After seeing her drive for the art, he he could he could tell he could tell straight off the bat that the young girl has talent from her magic aura alone. Doctor Strange can see her magic aura. It's a lot more calm and composed com- compared to someone barely starting out in their magical training. It normally would be a lot more wild. Despite the potential she has, he didn't go easy on her. He started he started her training from the very beginning. After months of brutal training, well, sorry, try it again. After months of brutal training, strengthening the body, Doctor Strange constantly told Wanda, "You can't truly master the art of magic until you strengthen your core first." After the brutal physical training, Doctor Strange started her on learning the basics of magic theory, basically. Theory. That's how you say it. When it came to Wanda, she was excited. Well, excited. Yep, basically, yeah, yeah. I think I said that right. Excited of the depth of the magical documents that the sanctum holds, and she knows she's only scraping the surface that the sanctum can provide. Of course, Wanda made a priority to visit her father so he doesn't get worried. Over the years, Wanda developed some sort of affection towards her teacher. Doctor Strange, well, her teacher, Doctor Strange, she never really acted on it until she turned the age of 23. After a few months, since her confession, when she told Doctor Strange her feelings towards him, after Doctor Strange, after several months thinking on it, decided to give it a try. He has grown to care about the girl quite a bit. He figured their age difference might be a problem, but Wanda was completely fine with it. As the Sorcerer Supreme, he's going to live a very long life. Longer than most humans, with magic staining his body. At first, Magneto was against it, but when he thought about it, any child they would bring into the world would be a powerful mutant, so he had a change of heart. When it came to his daughter and Doctor Strange. 4 years after their marriage, Wanda gave birth to her son that she named Izuku. Izuku took his father's last name. He is officially now Izuku Strange. The Strange family reside in New York. They will be that will be their known location for a while in the soon to be known as the Webheads territory. After time, after some time, Spider-Man made his debut. Izuku is about 5 years old by then. Give me a second, guys. And Wanda couldn't be happier. She has her own family, a husband and a son. E, sorry, and son. Even training her son in magic. She'll cherish those memories for the rest of her life. She was quite pleased to know that her son has the same drive for magic that she does. Wanda was quite concerned about her well, Wanda was quite concerned about her son's appearance. She will love him no matter what he looks like. But because the way he looks, because he looks like a vampire, she knows the non-mutant population won't be too kind to her son. So give me a second, guys. So she decided to homeschool her son instead of sending him to public school sorry, until he gets the right age for him to handle other kids. She's just extremely worried of that he'll get picked on. From an early age, his parents notice his potential is quite vast in magic. Wanda and Strange decided to teach him in the art of witchcraft from a early age. Strange knows his son is too young to go through the body core training, but he could always go through that when he gets old enough. For now, he needs to learn the basics of basic knowledge of magic. And that's what Doctor Strange and Wanda did. As as they homeschooled him instead of sending him, in enrolling him into public school, Izuku had a very great childhood, learning magic from his mother and father, occasionally visiting his grandfather, Magneto, spending time with his uncle Pietro. He was even tutored in his mutant abilities by his grandfather each time he would go there to visit. Izuku found out he's able to drain magical energy out of magical objects and people to strengthen his own magical abilities. He's only required a little bit of magical energy to maintain his body. He doesn't need, so he doesn't kill anyone to get enough energy. And the amount of energy he needs to sustain his body is very little compared to a large amount. So someone will not notice being drained. They will only slightly feel lightheaded. Everybody produces some sort of magic aura or mana. Just most people just can't utilize it. He was in Genosis when he came across a couple materials about vampires. After educating himself on the myth of vampires, he just found it ironic that he looks like a vampire and feeds off magical energy instead of blood. When Izuku turned 8, he began to train himself using his hue. Oh, sorry. Let's try this again. When he was 8, he began training himself using his huge bat-like wings that pop out of his back on command. That somehow doesn't rip any of his clothes when he rip any clothes when he unreveal his wings. At this time, he's already been dabbling in chaos magic, only by his mother's supervision, of course. Even if he doesn't have access to magic, with the powers he's gained through his exchange, able to create a black energy, forming into a blast. Mm. And he found out with training, he's able to infuse the energy blast with his magic to make it a lot more potent. The simple fact that he's able to drain someone's mana, magic, essence, and fortify it, increases his own stats, would make him a very terrifying opponent to come across in a battle. Izuku is unaware that his father is grooming him to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, to take his. Give me a second, guys. To take his role when he finally steps down. This routine would continue for years until he turned the age of 14. Wanda is finally allowing her son to enter a normal school in New York City, even though she doesn't like the idea. But she knows it's good for her son to make some friends outside of the outside of well, sorry, to make some friends outside of the friends he made in Genosa. Now, for one who doesn't know Genosis, or I think it's Genosis, I'm not totally sure how to pronounce it, but it's the little island that Magneto has where he only allows mutants to reside there It's just like a big island meant for mutants. So let's continue on. Luckily for Izuku, his long black hair hides his elf-like ears, but there's no way around disguising his red eyes outside of wearing contact lens. His mother told him if someone asked him, sorry, excuse me. His mother told him if someone asked him if he was a mutant to tell them that he is a metahuman to keep that sorry to keep that he's a mutant a secret. She told she told she told her son that non-mutant non-mutants population don't really have a lot of hatred for their kind and fear. So she made sure she understood the outside world, how mutants are treated and how they look upon, how general normal people look at sorry, the normal population look at mutants in general. And Izuku wasn't stupid. He knows how much the normal population despises the mutant species, regardless what ability you have. They're more kindly towards the metahumans, but they're a lot more lenient towards the metahumans than people with quirks. They look at people with quirks a lot more suspicious. Not not all out hatred like for people that are mutants, but they're a step up. Yeah, and before we continue on, I know metahumans are the metahumans are both in Marvel and DC. They have their own version of it apparently. So let's just continue on. Metahumans and people with quirks are mostly tolerated, and sorry, they're more like tolerated than anything else. But luckily for Izuku, the population of mutant in New York City is very low. So there's a good chance that he's not going to get dragged into the middle of some sort of conflict between a human and a mutant. Izuku is more concentrated on continuing his studies in magic than worrying about mutant politics. Izuku is leaning against the wall in the school hallway, waiting for the teacher to call him in to introduce himself to the rest of the class. Izuku is reading a book to pass the time while he's waiting for the teacher to let him in. It took the teacher 15 minutes to call him in to introduce himself to the rest of the class. Izuku was quite surprised. Okay, yeah. Izuku was quite surprised no one really asked about how he looks. The male students genuinely didn't bother Izuku, but but he wasn't so fortunate when it came to the female students. They would constantly ask him questions throughout the whole school day. After an irritating day of school, Izuku was walking home. As he heard a loud explosion, as several people are running away, trying to get away from the danger, as Rhino was fighting against Spider-Man. When Rhino ran into the car was flying towards a little girl that was crying in the middle of the street. Before the car could hit the car disappeared when it was mere inches away from the girl's face. The car reappeared and fell into the harbor. The harbor's pretty far away from the part of the city where he is. Izuku picked up the scared girl and pat her on the head to comfort her. As he walked with the girl to get a safe distance away from the fight, a few moments later, the girl's mother came running up to Izuku and thanked him for rescuing her daughter as she ran off. As Izuku watches the woman run off with her daughter, As he turned his attention back to the problem at hand. Oh, give me a second, guys. Rhino finally got a hold of Spider-Man in a deadly bear hug, trying to crush the web head in his arms. This is where you... Oh, sorry. This is where you... Oh, I totally fucked that up. Give me a second, guys. Oh, you gotta give me a... This is where you are. There's no escape now, webhead. You got quite a grip there, buddy. We definitely need to keep you far away from the pet store. Make jokes as much as you want. You're gonna die here. Rhino screams out in pain from the feeling of a surge of electricity going throughout his whole body. Rhino tossed Spider-Man towards a wall. Spider-Man simply landed on all fours on the wall, sticking to it. I gotta say, Buckethead, that was quite a shocking experience. As Spider-Man's still making jokes. That's irritating Rhino to no end. After being electrocuted, Rhino turned around to see who attacked him. He was surprised to see a teenager standing in the middle of the street, not even looking like he cared that he attacked him. As Rhino rushed towards Izuku, before Spider-Man could tell the kid to run, Spider-Man watched the young man raise his hand up towards the running Rhino as black energy starts to emanate around his palm as a beam of black light hit Rhino as the Rhino goes flying into the wall. I'll be damned, as Spider-Man lands on top of a street light right next to Izuku. Nice shot, kid. I'll handle the rest. Thanks for the assist, and thanks for rescuing that little girl. Izuku simply nodded at Spider-Man and simply walked the other way. He's already late. He knows his mother is going to be worried. Oh, sorry, word sick. He should have been home 2 hours ago. When Izuku entered the sanctum, he could tell straight off the bat something seems off. Izuku saw his father on the second level, talking with his mother. He could tell by their facial expressions they seemed to be discussing something serious. This is the first picture I found of Scarlet Witch that was okay to use, so let's continue. Doctor Strange gestured Izuku to come in when he saw him heading towards them. Sweetheart, you're home. How was your first day of school? Pretty boring outside of an angry rhino I came across on my way home today. Izuku starts to laugh a little bit from his comment about the rhino. It's good to see you adjusting to school. Well, it seems like you're... Sorry, starts again. It's good to see you adjusting to school life so well. But that's not why we called you here. Oh, that's not why we want you... Or, that's not why we called you in here for today. Or, start again. That's not why we called you here today. I think it's about time you take on your very first mission. It's nothing too dangerous. Your mother would kill me. You just have to retrieve a couple of magical items that are all... Sorry. Give me a second, guys. There are 3 magical artifacts scattered around the city, and it's your job to track them down and study them and show me your findings. Then return to the sanctum with these artifacts. I have no idea I have no idea what objects they are. I may not know what they look like, but you should be able to track their magical single, or single basically. You should be able to track down the scent of their magic. After all, you've been trained well in tracking down people with magic signatures. So you want me to find these magical objects that's been placed in New York City? You are correct, but one little minor detail. You do have a time limit, son. I'm using this retrieval mission to to test you. You're not to return to the sanctum until you retrieve the artifacts, and you will have 4 days to complete this task. Are you being a little rough on him, dear? No, I'm not being rough on him. Our son, he'll be sorry. I'm not sorry. No, I'm not being too rough on him. Our son will be fine. I know this is not going to be dangerous, but keep your wits about you, son. Now I know why. Sorry. Now I know why you asked me to place magical objects in the city. I was wondering why you didn't want me to tell you what they were. As much as I would love to tell you that, as much as I would love to tell you, son, what they are, that's that would be cheating. So no cheating in the test. And she winked at her son. She likes to she likes to tease him all the time. The rules are simple, Izuku. Retrieve these magical items. I do have a question, though. Of course you have a question. You're my son, after all. You've always been a curious one. A curious lot. After Izuku got the okay to speak again by his father, he continued, by the off chance someone came across one of these magical items. Let's just say they figured out how to use the magical item, and that could be used as a weapon. I can handle this, dear. If that's the case, take them down. Me and your father are in agreement in that. If that ever occurred, you're to take them down hard. Show no mercy, son. During this little mission, you're still going to attend school. As Doctor Strange tossed Izuku something, as Izuku catches it, it's a key inside a piece of paper, as he sees the address on it. What's this, father? This is the location to the safe house you'll be staying in while you're retrieving these magical items. It's already been fully stocked with food, and the safe house has everything you need to start your investigation to the location of these magical items. Like I said, son, you have 4 days. If you pass this test, I'll I'll begin the next step in your training. But be warned, this test won't be a simple task to locate and retrieve. Each magical artifact has its own guardian. You're going to have to you're going to have to defeat every guardian to retrieve the item. They might ask for a fight. Some might ask you to prove in different ways. I remember when I did this test. I was stuck playing a board game. What was he? I believe he called himself a dwarf. Odd creatures, but nevertheless. So that's your game, old man. Very well. I'll find these magical artifacts and defeat these guardians. After eating dinner with his mother and father, he packed up his things and said his goodbyes, even though his mother didn't really want him to go. After his father was able to his mother, pry his death grip that his wife had on her son, as both parents watch Izuku leave the sanctum. The test doesn't officially begin till tomorrow, so he made his way over to the safe house that he'll be staying in. He'll be he'll do this test. He got himself. Oh, sorry. Give me a second, guys. He'll be staying in for a while. While he's doing this test, after a few hours, he got himself situated in his apartment, put away all his clothes as he turns in for the night. He has to wake up early because he has school in the morning. The the next day, after attending another boring day of school, he decided to start his investigation to find the first magical artifact. He's hoping he'll come across it by accident. Izuku roam around the city to pick up the cello of the magical aura that these magical items produce. It's not very big, but it's very unique. It's a very unique magical signature that these sort of items produce. When he got to a certain area of town, he noticed the change in the scenery. He saw a human-sized toy soldier walking in a straight line, marching down the street, with several toy soldiers behind him. He even saw a jack-in-a-box nearby. Izuku can tell by the size of it. It's the size of it's the size of a car. Izuku even came across a plastic T-Rex trying to crush a car with his teeth. As he saw a string of web wrap around the T-Rex feet, as it fell to the ground, as Spider-Man jumps down and webbed the T-Rex mouth shut with his webbing. Well, this is interesting. It's not every day you come across a plastic living T-Rex. Someone's definitely getting grounded for not picking up their toys. It's you again. I always find you in the most interesting situations, kid. I'm a busy spider, so don't get too much trouble now. Izuku watches Spider-Man jump off. So that's Spider-Man. He's not too good at jokes. Hopefully he's a lot more better in a fight than his little puns. No matter. I need to locate whatever magical items causing this. It must have some sort of reality warping ability. Judging from all the toys. Judging from all the toys everywhere. A child must have got a hold of uh, the magical artifact and accidentally activated it. But where is this supposedly guardian supposed to be at? Mom and Dad were very vague about these guardians. When he finally pinpointed the magical artifact location, he was surprised. He sorry, give me a second, guys. He was surprised not only to see Spider-Man on the scene fighting plastic action figures, but to see two other similar looking people that he's never seen before. With the male with a black and white suit, you know, it's It's Miles, basically. And and some sort of female wearing some sort of black and white spider suit, wearing some sort of hoodie over her head to complete her battle outfit. As Izuku looks up to see a little pixie laughing, having the time of her life, he was quite surprised to see the same little girl he saved earlier yesterday on some sort of toy throne, clapping her hands, holding on some sort of wand. Izuku watches the young girl conjure another human-sized toy out of nowhere. So that's the magical artifact. I'm just fortunate this type of artifact is not in the hands of someone that has a wicked heart. The pure chaos they could create with such a artifact would be quite troublesome. Izuku unleashed his wings and flew up to the sky to talk to the pixie that seemed to be enjoying the pure chaos that she caused. You seem to be having fun. Well, hello there. You must be the Sorcerer Supreme's brat. As she flew around Izuku, scanning the boy from head to toe, then she gently sat on his shoulder. Now I highly doubt my mother and father brought you here to cause trouble. I know. They haven't. You can't hurt a girl for trying, though. Don't, don't worry. The girl can't do anything dangerous. It will remain non-dangerous as long as the wielder is a child. Let's just say it would end very badly if someone hold on to the wand that has negative emotions. What happens when someone with a wicked heart would use the wand? They would succumb to their lust for power and lose themselves in it. And if they had a wicked heart, the wand would drain their life force until they would ultimately die. They would ultimately kill their wielder. But if the opposite holds on to the wand, it has the opposite effect. The wand is never meant to be used by grown-ups, specifically children. Sorry, the wand is meant to be used specifically by children with a pure heart. That little girl on that toy throne she created, she's the purest soul I've ever came across. So shoot me for giving the girl a bit of fun in her life. I've seen the girl's memories coming from a broken home, catching some sort of non-curable disease. So I decided I would help her while I wait for your arrival. She's already she's already been healed of her illness. The moment she grabbed onto the wand automatically started to heal the girl. The wand is known to heal its wielders. When when the wand finds you worthy to wield it. The pixie snapped her fingers as all the moving toys stopped as she flew over to the girl and sat on her lap. Now that all the players have arrived, let's let's start the game, shall we? Now that the numbers are even, I'll be I'll be splitting you up into two teams. If you're able to win this game, everything will go back to normal, and I'll gladly hand over the artifact to you, Izuku Strange. Now, I don't want to hear that you can't be a part of this game because you don't have a choice. As everyone gets transported to different locations in the reality warp part of the city, as Spider-Man and Miles get team up, while Izuku and Gwen get transported to a different location to the Warp City. Izuku and Gwen found themselves in a life-size dollhouse. All of the furniture in the room and walls are all plastic. I guess we're going to have to work together to get out of here. Name's Spider-Gwen. I'm only, I know it's a terrible name. I'm only using it till I find something better. So, what's your name? As as Gwen gets extremely close to Izuku. Name's Izuku. Gwen tried to open the front door, but it wouldn't budge one bit. As Gwen tried to rip the door off the hinges with her physical strength, but a magic circle appeared on the door and gave her a nasty shock. After helping After helping her up from being tossed across the room, from being electrocuted, Izuku noticed the television turn on. He's not surprised to see the same pixie on the screen waving her hands to get their attention. I would advise against such actions. The those wards are those wards are up to help me. Sorry, many orbs like that are placed all around the house to prevent such actions that you just try to do and try to ruin our fun. And also, we have a couple other neat little tricks scattered around this little house. I have anti-magic wards all around the house, so no magic. In the kitchen, there is a magical device. This device is the main reason stopping you from leaving this place and stopping you from using your magic. Even your super strength Spider-Grin won't be able to punch through the door. I suggest you play ball, or you're never gonna leave. Now that all the unpleasantness out of the way, you can see the device. You can see the device itself. It's missing 3 orbs. The orbs are placed all across the house. I know what you're thinking. This seems a bit too easy. You're right. There is also fake orbs scattered all around the house. It is your job to figure out which one's real and which one's fake. And and you're probably thinking to yourself, what happens if I place a fake orb into the statue? Simple. The first failed attempt will summon a weak monster. Each failed answer will summon an even stronger monster. And if you get any key ideas for trying to damaging the walls, don't bother. It's been enforced with magic. Fairy, a pixie magic. It's my finest. It's my finest work. So I suggest you two pick wisely. As the television shuts off. So magic's real. Neat. I'm surprised you're taking this very well. I figure most people would be freaking out. I'm not your average girl. After all, I'm wearing a female spider suit and 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 fight crime in it. I'm nowhere near average. So, how you want to play this, Izuku? Considering forcefully escaping is not an option, we're going to have to play along. You're right, we can't forcefully free ourselves. If I have no access to magic, we're going to have to play ball for now. Why don't you check upstairs for these orbs, and I'll check downstairs once we collected all the orbs. We'll we'll go we'll go from there. Do you have any issues with this plan? Sounds good to me. See you in a little bit. don't miss me too much. As she heads upstairs, try to find the orbs. Izuku chose to ignore that last comment that Spider Gwen, made when she left the room, as he began his search for the orbs. After several hours of searching the house, they gather up all the small round orbs that they could find in the living room. So how do we even choose the right orb? The little pixie didn't give us a explanation on that. Pixies are known to be quite the tricksters. They're very mischievous creatures. She's the very pixies I've ever came across. Let's take a look at the magical device and see if we could come up with a clue. So, are you like a mage or something? Sorcerer. I'm far too talented to be a mere mage. I do apologize, your magical majesty, as she gives Izuku a bow, as she has a smirk on her face underneath her mask. You're funny. Is it a requirement to be on your to sorry? Is it a requirement to be on your team to tell horrible horrible bad jokes? Nah, not really. I'm just having I'm just having some fun with you. You're far too serious. I decided to give it a try. Spider-Man made it look so easy. Don't don't quit your day job. Izuku is Izuku is aware that this girl is just trying to get a rise out of him. But when he entered the kitchen, his eyes locked onto the magical device. Izuku walked over to examine it. His previous thought of Spider-Gwen teasing him was immediately forgotten now that there's a new magical device Izuku hasn't seen before. It's a huge statue of a pixie fighting a dragon. There are several spots on the statue for three orbs to be placed. After examining the statue, so sorry, after examining the statue more, he could tell this is a very powerful magical artifact, but not but not the one he's after. Izuku thought this artifact would be a nice addition to his collection if the if the opportunity ever presented itself to Izuku, he would claim this artifact for his collection. He needs to concentrate on his main concern, retrieving his first magical artifact and getting out of here. The simple fact that this artifact is able to function in this place with all the anti-magical wards scattered all around the house, it would take him too long to find and destroy every single of these wards, anti-magic wards. He might not be able to use magic right now, but that doesn't make him defenseless. Sorry. Luckily, the anti-magic wards have no effect on his mutant powers. He he still has access to his black energy that he's able to produce out of his hands. And with his superior strength and speed, Izuku is fully confident in himself. He could handle anything that he come across. He knows his new companion is most likely no slouch in a fight, if she's anything like that Spider-Man he's met twice already. And that's where we're going to cut it off. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judged by time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.